Revealed, how one single dad's incredible journey to save a CEO's sick daughter exposed true love. In the heart of a small Midwestern town, under the bright sun of a summer afternoon, 8-year-old Ethan sprinted towards the local park with laughter bubbling from his chest. The sound echoed through the neighborhood, a reminder of simpler times. But at home, the reality was different. His father, Jake, a steadfast single dad, worked tirelessly at 2 jobs, days spent tending tables, nights driving for ride shares just to keep food on the table and ensure his son had everything he needed. Their world consisted of cheesy mac and evenings curled up on their worn couch with well-loved storybooks, sharing smiles that could light up the dark. One fateful day at the park, Ethan stumbled upon a treasure, a friendship with Lily, the spirited daughter of the town's wealthy CEO, Margaret. Their innocent laughter mingled in the air, a melody of childhood joy. But the happiness was fleeting. Margaret's life turned chaotic with the sudden, heart-wrenching news Lily had been diagnosed with a rare and aggressive illness. The idyllic days of summer quickly spiraled into a suffocating reality filled with despair, glances of worry from neighbors, and hushed conversations about medical bills ringing loudly in the AIR.as. Whispers circulated about Ethan and Lily's budding friendship. Skepticism took root. Why would Jake, a struggling single father, devote himself to a wealthy CEO's child? People began to raise eyebrows. What's in it for him? They murmured. Faint shadows crossed Jake's face as he saw the doubt clouding their kindness. Yet, love for his son and newfound friend ignited a fiery resilience within him. He would not let judgment drown hope. With his heart pounding and fears dismissed, Jake took the lead, organizing fundraisers to help Margaret cope with the financial burdens of Lily's treatment. Together with neighbors, he penned heartfelt letters and rallied support, turning compassion into action. Yet, in the face of adversity, he met disdain from those who had once seen him as just the single dad. Despite each closed door and every skeptical glance, Jake's spirit remained unbroken, a beacon of determination for Ethan and Lily. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As tensions rose, a community meeting became the catalyst for a showdown. Jake stood vibrantly alive with passion, defending his intentions against accusations of using his son's friendship for personal gain. The weight of judgment hung like a lead blanket in the air, but Jake's voice rang clear, echoing dignity and the true meaning of love. We all want the same thing, to see Lily healthy again. Can't we come together? For a fleeting moment, the murmurs quieted. Yet as Jake spoke, the boundaries of class division shattered, revealing the raw humanity that lay beneath. But just when understanding began to blossom, a late-night phone call shattered their fragile peace, bringing news that would not only alter Lily's treatment but also redefine the connection between their two very different families. Would Jake's unwavering fight for love and dignity clear the path for a better tomorrow, or would the storm ahead rewrite their destinies forever? The phone rang with a shrill urgency that sliced through the stillness of the night. Jake jolted upright in bed, heart drumming wildly. He squinted at the glowing screen. It was Margaret. This was not a call he was prepared for. Anxiety curled in his gut as he answered. Margaret? Is everything all right? Her voice, shaking and laced with a mixture of fear and determination, flooded through the line. Jake, we need to talk. It's about Lily. It's urgent. A surge of dread washed over him. He wanted to demand clarity, to pull her thoughts from the shadows that darkened the conversation. But he couldn't. I'll be right there, he blurted, tossing the covers aside as he struggled to regain his composure. The cool night air hit him as he stepped outside, the streetlights casting soft pools of light around him. Each step felt heavy, weighted down by a sense of impending change. The short drive to Margaret's elegant home was a blur, filled only with thoughts of Lily, the way her smile lit up when she was with Ethan, or the sparkle in her eyes when they talked about their favorite cartoons. When he arrived, Margaret was waiting at the door, her face pale, shadows beneath her eyes amplifying her distress. "Thank you for coming," she said, leading him inside. "I didn't know who else to turn to." As they settled at the kitchen table, Jake noted the papers scattered across it: medical documents, lab reports, a bill that looked like it belonged in a horror movie. "What is going on?" he asked, trying to keep his voice steady. "We got some test results back. They found a new complication." Her voice tremored as she spoke, barely above a whisper. "Lily needs a specialized treatment that's not covered by our insurance. It's expensive." "Jake, I don't know what to do." Jake's heart sank. The weight of her words pressed down on him, but alongside the fear, something else flickered inside him. A spark of determination. "We'll find a way," he said, his voice firm. "I'll help you." Margaret looked up, surprise mixing with skepticism in her expression. "You have your own battles. I can't ask this of you." "A friend doesn't ask, they act," he replied softly. "Let us do this together. For Lily." As they shared ideas and strategies to tackle the financial burden, a warmth started to blanket the tension in the room. But just as hope began to take root, Jake's phone buzzed with a message. He glanced down, breath catching in his throat. It was a photo from Ethan, him and Lily, grinning widely, holding homemade signs for a lemonade stand. Their innocent joy was cut short by the tragic reality ahead. He glanced back up at Margaret, whose expression mirrored his own anguish. "Our kids, they think the world is still bright," she murmured, blinked back, tears gathering in her eyes. "Yes, and it's up to us to help them keep it that way," he replied, a newfound resolve swelling within him. They began to brainstorm community solutions. Moments of laughter crossed with tears, but reality loomed large. Fundraising events, reaching out to friends, neighbors, and even those skeptics from the meeting. Together, they could transform their fears into action. As dawn broke, illuminating the kitchen with fresh light, Jake felt a shift in the air. They were no longer just two worlds colliding, they were in this together now. But could their united hearts withstand the coming storms? Jake felt the mantle of responsibility settle onto his shoulders and knew this was just the beginning. As they made plans, each word tinged with urgency and hope, an unexpected knock at the door stole their focus. The moment hung heavily in the air, curiosity casting a shadow of doubt. Who could it be? Jake shot a quick glance at Margaret, uncertainty shimmering in the air between them. What surprise, or perhaps trouble, awaited them now? The knock echoed in the quiet kitchen, loud and insistent. Jake and Margaret exchanged glances, a mix of dread and curiosity passing between them. Who would be arriving at this hour? Heart racing, Jake pushed himself away from the table and made his way to the door, each step heavy with possibility. He opened the door to find a tall figure cloaked in shadows. It took a moment for his eyes to adjust, but as they did, he recognized Ethan's father, Robert, standing there, his features taut with anxiety. "Robert," Jake managed, surprised to see him. "What's wrong? Is Ethan here?" I couldn't find him. "He was supposed to come home an hour ago from your place," Robert stammered, his voice strained, sounding more rattled than Jake had ever heard him. A cold wave of unease washed over Jake. "He was with us for a while, but I thought he went home." "Margaret, do you know anything?" Margaret joined them at the door, concern deepening her brow. "He might have gone back with Lily when she got tired," she suggested. "But I thought you were coming to pick him up." Robert's expression shifted from worry to panic. "We had a family event this morning. I told him not to be late. He didn't have his phone. I thought he took the bus home." Jake felt a surge of urgency. "Let us retrace his steps," he said, urgency curling in his gut. "He could be at the park or wandering around the neighborhood. We need to split up and check everywhere." Margaret nodded, determination hardening her gaze. I'll look around the neighborhood. He usually takes that shortcut past the church. Jake shot down the street, searching every corner of his mind for where Ethan might have gone. The streets that had seemed welcoming moments before now felt oppressive and confusing. Jake's heart thudded in sync with his frantic footsteps. Images of those two together flooded him, Ethan making goofy faces, laughing at Lily, that memorable lemonade stand. "Silly boy," he murmured. "You always wandered off." After circling the block and popping into a few spots he thought Ethan would hang out, Jake stopped at the nearby playground. His heart sank at the sight of empty swings swaying slightly in the morning breeze. He raised his voice nearly to a shout as he stepped fully onto the play area. "Ethan! Are you here?" Silence greeted him, making the unease creep heavier into his bones. But then, a whisper of laughter carried through the air. Jake turned abruptly, following it to the side of the park where the trees grew dense. Feeling a jolt of hope, he quickened his pace. As he rounded the corner, he caught sight of a familiar figure. There he was, Ethan, perched high atop a wooden fort, grinning ear to ear. "Ethan! What are you doing up there?" Jake called out, relief washing over him. Ethan looked down, almost surprised. "Hey, Jake. I was just pretending I was a pirate." Jake chuckled but felt the weight in his chest settle back down. "You worried your dad's sick. Come on, let us go home." Ethan climbed down, sudden confusion clouding his face. "Can we take Lily some lemonade? It was really fun making it last time." Jake's smile faded slightly as he remembered the urgency of their situation. "That's a great idea, but right now, we need to get back to your dad." As they walked back together, Ethan chattered away, blissfully unaware of the tension holding Jake's heart. How could he tell him that life wasn't always fun and games? That sometimes, there were bigger battles at hand? When they returned to Robert, both were out of breath. Robert pulled Ethan into a hug, squeezing tightly. "Don't ever scare me like that again," he thundered, half angry but mostly relieved. Jake exchanged a look with Margaret, admiration filling the space between them. They were both in the same boat, anchored to the same worrying tides, but just as they thought the day might settle back into a routine, Jake saw a familiar name flash across his phone screen. The hospital. A wave of dread washed over him again, churning up hope and fear. What could they want? He muttered, apprehension clawing at his insides. Jake's fingers trembled as he answered. "Hello? Mr. Harrison." The voice on the other end was cold. "We need to discuss Lily's condition further. Can you come in today?" An icy knot formed in Jake's stomach. "I'll be there," he heard himself say, but the question loomed heavy. What new burdens awaited them? Jake's heart raced in a way he hadn't felt in years as he hung up the phone. The words echoed in his mind like a relentless drumbeat. Lily's condition. He felt a mixture of fear and determination rise within him. He couldn't let her down. "Jake? Everything okay?" Margaret's voice pulled him back to the moment. He looked at her, her eyes searching his, clearly sensing something was off. "The hospital wants me to come in," he replied, trying to maintain a steady tone. "They want to discuss Lily. It can't be good." Robert, still hugging Ethan, stepped forward. Is she all right?" There was an edge of desperation in his voice, one that mirrored Jake's own feelings. "I don't know." The weight of uncertainty pressed down on him. "But I have to find out." Ethan, for his part, seemed oblivious to the growing tension. "Can I come?" he asked with innocent enthusiasm. "I want to see Lily." Jake knelt down to meet Ethan's eyes. "Not this time, buddy. You need to stay here with your dad. I'll go see what they say. I promise I'll be back soon." "Okay." Ethan's voice trailed off, his excitement dampened. Jake gave him a reassuring smile. He needed to be strong, not just for Lily but for Ethan too. With a quick goodbye, he stepped out into the cool afternoon air. The sun was shining but felt distant to Jake. Everything around him seemed muted in contrast to the anxiety swirling in his chest. As he drove, thoughts raced through his mind, everything from memories of joyful days spent with Lily, their laughter echoing in the hallways, to the image of her frail figure, fighting against an illness he couldn't begin to fully comprehend. The hospital loomed before him, its sterile facade finding a way to drain even the brightest colors from the day. As he entered, he felt the familiar chill of the place wrap around him, stirring up a memory of the last time he had visited. The soft beeping of machines, whispering nurses, and the scent of antiseptic hit him like a wave. Each step down the corridor felt heavier than the last. Finally, he reached the pediatric wing and approached the nurse's station. "I'm here to see Lily Sanchez," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. The nurse peered over her glasses. "The doctor is waiting for you in the consultation room." His stomach knotted further as he followed her directions. Each heartbeat felt like a reminder of the stakes at hand. He knocked lightly before stepping inside. Dr. Martinez, with his tired eyes and serious expression, stood beside a small desk cluttered with charts. "Mr. Harrison, thank you for coming." Jake's heart sank deeper. What is going on with Lily? He couldn't mask the tremor in his voice. "We need to discuss her latest test results," the doctor said, gesturing for Jake to sit. "There are some concerning developments. It's about her treatment plan." Jake's breathing quickened. "What does that mean? Is she Mr. Harrison? I know this is difficult, but we need to adjust our approach. There are complications." The words hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. A wave of emotion surged through Jake: hurt, anger, despair. Every word was piercing, each syllable unraveling any sense of peace he had left. "What do we have to do?" he managed to choke out, his voice barely above a whisper. "Doctor." Martinez leaned forward, his expression stern yet compassionate. "We need to act swiftly. Her best chance requires robust interventions, and I need your full support in this." Jake nodded, his mind racing. He thought of Lily, her feisty spirit, the moments they shared. She was a fighter. They would fight together, but then another thought struck him: what if he didn't have what it takes? Just outside the room, he noticed a cheerful mural of a sun shining over a field of flowers. It clashed painfully with the reality within. As he stepped back into the sterile hall, he wondered how he would deliver this news to Ethan. But as he reached for the door, he caught it opening from the other side. Robert stood there, a mix of hope and anxiety filling his features. Just then, Jake's phone buzzed in his pocket, a text notification that could turn everything on its head. "Jake, any news?" Robert asked, the tension etched on his face. Jake hesitated, his heart heavy. "I just found out," but before he could finish, the text caught his eye. His stomach dropped as he read the message. "Urgent. We need to see you about unexpected findings on Lily's tests. Come as soon as possible." What did that mean? He turned back to Robert, feeling the gravity of the moment crash around them. "We have to talk. It's about Lily." The air in the hallway felt thick as Jake steeled himself for a conversation that could inexorably change everything. Jake swallowed hard, his throat dry. Robert's eyes widened slightly, concern deepening on his face. "What's this about?" "Unexpected findings. We need to go back in." Jake could feel his own voice tremble. Each word felt like a heavy stone he was forced to carry. "More bad news?" Robert's voice cracked, revealing the fear that lurked beneath his calm exterior. "Let us go find out." Jake straightened his posture, steeling himself against the weight of Robert's unease. They moved together, the tension between them amplified with each step. As they entered the consultation room again, the fluorescent lights flickered overhead, casting a harsh glare on the doctor's notes sprawled across the desk. Dr. Martinez sat, his hands folded together, his gaze serious yet sympathetic. "Thank you both for coming back so quickly," he began, the gravity in his tone sending chills down Jake's spine. "I know it's a lot to process. But we discovered further anomalies in Lily's latest tests. Jake felt his heart drop further. What kind of anomalies? The question pained him, but he needed to know. Dr. Martinez hesitated, as if weighing his words carefully. Lily's response to the current treatment has not been as we hoped. There is a chance her condition may be more advanced than we initially believed. Robert's expression hardened, clenching his fists at his side. What are you saying? Is she? We cannot lose hope. Dr. Martinez interjected. However, we must consider alternative methodologies. You both should think about possible clinical trials or an experimental procedure. Jake felt a mix of anger and desperation. Is that really our only option? An experimental trial? His voice raised an octave as his emotions surged. Sometimes, it's our best shot, the doctor replied calmly. We need to act fast. It's crucial we make a decision quickly. Jake's body pulsed with uncertainty. Could he put Lily through something experimental when she was already so fragile? What if it didn't work? What if they tried and it made things worse? He glanced at Robert, whose eyes reflected similar turmoil. What are we going to tell Ethan? Robert asked, his voice heavy with dread. How do we explain this to him? Jake rubbed his temples, exhaustion creeping in. I don't know, I just don't want to scare him. Neither do I, Robert whispered. But he needs to know the truth. The mention of Ethan sparked a new surge of emotion within Jake. He thought of his son's innocent laughter and how much he loved Lily. How a little boy could carry such profound trust and imagine everything would be all right. I can't let him think everything is fine. Not when Jake trailed off, feeling the tears threaten to spill. He shook his head, shoving the wave of fear aside. They were fighting this battle together, they owed it to Lily to be strong. Dr. Martinez cleared his throat gently. We'll be on hand to help guide you through every step. All treatment decisions will be made with your family in mind. Jake nodded, but fear pulsated through him. Was he making the right choice? Take time to discuss it. I'll wait outside. The doctor left them there, the silence somehow more suffocating than the heavy words they had just exchanged. In that moment, Jake reached for Robert's arm. Whatever happens, we have to stay united for Lily. She's our priority. She is, Robert acknowledged, pain mingling with determination in his eyes. As they stood there, the weight of their roles started to take form. They were not just fighting for Lily's life, they were fighting to preserve the warmth of family. But deep down inside, Jake felt a gnawing unease. Holding on to hope was getting harder. Was it enough to keep them strong? He turned to Robert, and found himself wondering. What if we're out of time? The question hung between them, filled with unanswered fears and swirling uncertainty. Just then, Jake's phone buzzed again, breaking their trance. Who is it now? Robert asked, but Jake was already looking. His breath hitched as he read the name flashing on the screen, a specialist who might have the answers they needed. Would this be a lifeline or another dead end? He hit call, ready to face whatever came next. Jake's heart raced as the phone connected. The familiar voice on the other end instantly put him on edge. Jake? I just saw your message. It was Dr. Simmons, a pediatric oncologist renowned for his work in cutting-edge treatments. Thanks for calling back. Jake's tone wavered, a mix of urgency and hesitation. I need to know if you can help us with Lily. Tell me what you know about her situation, Dr. Simmons said, his voice calm yet probing. Jake struggled to find the right words, feeling overwhelmed. He glanced at Robert, whose eyes mirrored his anxiety, both trying to keep their composure. They found anomalies in her recent tests. Dr. Martinez suggested some experimental trials that might be our only option. Silence filled the gap, as if Dr. Simmons was weighing what he had just heard. I'm glad you reached out. Depending on her specific condition and those anomalies, I may have some leads on promising new therapies. For the first time in what felt like forever, Jake felt a flicker of hope. What kind of therapies? We've been working with genetic therapies that target specific markers in the cancer cells. They show real promise for cases just like Lily's, Dr. Simmons explained. But I'll need her complete medical records. There's a tight timeline, and we need to move quickly. Absolutely, Jake said, relief flooding through him. I'll get them to you right away. He felt sped up by the thought that maybe, just maybe, there was a chance for Lily. He hung up abruptly, turning to Robert, who was already on the edge of his seat. What did Dr. Simmons say? There's a chance, Jake breathed out. The words felt like a prayer. He talked about genetic therapy's new methods we could consider. Robert leaned back against the wall as if struck by a gust of wind. That sounds promising. But is it safe? That's the thing, Jake said, feeling the shadow of doubt creep back. It's experimental. It's never been tested on someone as young as Lily. Robert ran a hand through his hair. What if it's too late for her? What if he couldn't finish the thought, and that alone filled the air with a heavy ache? Jake felt the weight of Robert's questions press down on him. I don't know. He thought of Lily's bright smile, the way she rambled about princesses and fairy tales like she was in her own perfect world. I can't stand the idea of her giving up before either of them could voice their fears further. Jake's phone buzzed again. This time, it was a text from Ethan's school. Pick up notice. Ethan has a slight fever. Panic washed over him. Ethan's sick? Robert asked, concern rising like a tidal wave. Yeah. I need to get him. Jake's thoughts raced, threading together the fabric of their family as he pictured Ethan. He couldn't let his son see him in a state of despair. Can you hold down the fort here? Robert nodded, but his face was etched with worry. You sure you can manage? Do you want me to come with you? No, I'll be fine. I think it's just a fever. We'll deal with Lily's situation when I get back. The words slipped out, even as doubt crept in. He felt torn between two worlds, his sick child and the need to remain hopeful for Lily. Jake rushed to the car, urgency pulling him along. As he drove, memories of laughter and family bonds flooded his mind. He could picture Ethan's energy and enthusiasm, how that little boy basked in blissful ignorance of harsh realities. Jake hoped the drive would ground him, but instead, it pushed him deeper into a spiraling worry. What if everything changed by the time he returned? And in that moment, he realized that time was not just ticking, it was slipping through his fingers like grains of sand. When he finally got to the school, he took a deep breath, praying that whatever news lay ahead could still be faced together. But as he walked into the school, the exhaustion and fear mounted in waves. Was it too much to keep hoping? Before he could answer that, Robert's voice echoed in his mind, what if we're out of time? Jake shoved those thoughts aside as he approached the nurse's office, but the ominous weight of possibility loomed large. What if this time they really weren't? The nurse's office was quieter than usual, the air heavy with an unsettling stillness. Jake stepped inside, his heart pounding as he scanned the room. A few chairs were occupied, kids nervously flipping through magazines, hoping to feel better and escape the sterile environment. The school nurse looked up from her desk, her expression shifting from professional concern to warmth. Mr. Jacobs? Ethan's in here. Jake nodded, trying to keep his composure as he followed her into the back room. As soon as he entered, he saw Ethan lying on a cot, his small face pale and glistening with sweat. Jake's heart twisted at the sight. He hurried to his son's side, resting a gentle hand on Ethan's forehead. Hey, buddy, he whispered, forcing a smile. How are you feeling? Ethan blinked slowly, his eyes droopy. Dizzy and hot. Yeah, I can see that. Jake tried to keep the worry out of his voice. Let us get you home and cozy. We can watch some cartoons together. The faintest smile cracked Ethan's lips, and for a moment, the heaviness of the day faded. Just then, the nurse handed Jake a small note. He has a slight fever, but we've given him some medication. Just keep an eye on him. Thank you, Jake replied, glancing back at Ethan, who was now shuffling to sit up. As he helped Ethan into his coat, Jake felt a fresh wave of anxiety. How was he going to manage Lily's potentially devastating health crisis while worrying about his son? His thoughts darted back to the phone call with Dr. Simmons, the tenuous hope it brought clashing with the worry he now felt. Ethan leaned against him as they walked out of the school, and Jake's chest tightened. Dad, why do you look so worried? Jake paused, searching for the right words that wouldn't burden his son more. I'm just thinking about some things, buddy. But we're going to be okay. He forced a smile, hoping it felt real enough to comfort them both. Once in the car, Ethan drifted in and out of sleep. The drive home felt endless. Memories of Lily's laughter echoed in his mind, mixing with the uncertainty surrounding her treatment and Ethan's fever. How could he protect them both? At a red light, Jake caught his reflection in the rearview mirror. Worn, tired eyes stared back. He felt the weight of everything pressing down on him: Lily's impending treatments, Ethan's unknown recovery, and Robert's concerns. Okay, I can do this, he whispered under his breath, trying to bolster his resolve. There was so much to fight for. When they finally pulled into the driveway, Jake turned off the engine but sat in silence, staring at the front door. He pictured Lily inside, her artistic mess filling their home, the drawings taped on the refrigerator that told stories of princesses and adventure. Ethan's small voice broke the silence. Dad, can you help me with my Legos when we get inside? Of course, rocket scientist, Jake chuckled, missing the days when a simple game could erase all worries. As they walked inside, he felt urgency swirl in the air. He needed to figure things out now. Lily would need her father to be strong for her, to support her through every twist and turn. But the reality was gnawing at him. What if this experimental treatment didn't work? Or worse, what if he was forced to make an unthinkable choice? Jake? Robert's voice pulled him from his thoughts as he entered the living room, concern bubbling in his eyes. How did it go? Ethan's fever isn't bad, just a precaution, Jake replied, trying to sound more composed than he felt. But we need to talk about Lily. Her records, Dr. Simmons needs them. I'm hoping we can get this moving fast. Right, Robert said, his brow furrowing as he moved closer. But what if we don't get there in time? The words hung in the air like a dark cloud. Jake's breathing quickened at the haunting question. Suddenly, every second felt like a countdown and the pressure pushed down harder. Somewhere in the back of his mind, hope sparked in the dim light, but it was fragile, endlessly wavering. Could he truly hold everything together? As they settled in, Jake realized he had to face the looming dread. There was a fight ahead. And no matter how daunting it seemed, he had to be ready. What would happen next when truth and time collided, and the choices they made weighed heavier than their hearts could bear? The living room felt both familiar and foreign as Jake took in the clutter: a playground of toys scattered across the floor and the comforting blend of home-cooked meals lingering in the air. Yet, beneath that comfort lurked an anxiety that gnawed at him, persistent and demanding. Ethan gingerly settled onto the couch, his small body curling into the familiar cushions like a leaf settling onto a soft bed of grass. Can we watch that new superhero movie? He asked, his voice a soft whisper, punctuated by a cough. Of course. Let me just get it set up. Jake grabbed the remote, fingers trembling slightly. The innocence in Ethan's request tugged at his heart, drawing a bittersweet smile from him. But inside, he was pushing back against a storm of worry, each thought bouncing from Lily's fight to Ethan's fever with a dizzying speed. As the film flickered to life, Jake plopped down beside Ethan, placing an arm around his shoulders. The screen glowed with colors, but every bright scene felt overshadowed by the dark cloud of anxiety swirling in his mind. Dad? Ethan's gentle voice cut through the noise. You're not watching. Jake turned his head, forcing himself to engage. I'm here, buddy. Just got a lot on my mind. Like me being sick. Ethan frowned, the flicker of a knowing glance crossing his eyes. Just thinking about how we can make things better. Jake's heart sank. How could he reassure his son when he felt so lost himself? His gaze drifted to the family pictures on the walls, reminders of happier times. The warm glow of laughter seemed so far away. Just as he thought of turning the film off to talk, Robert walked into the room with a grave expression. Jake, we need to discuss Lily's situation now. Can this wait until the movie's over? Jake pleaded, feeling a dread wash over him. I'm afraid it can't. Robert's voice was calm, but an undercurrent of urgency threaded through. Ethan turned his head, a flicker of concern in his eyes. What's wrong? Nothing you need to worry about, kiddo. Jake tried to sound reassuring as he ruffled Ethan's hair. But even to him, the words felt hollow. Okay, then, Robert said, settling into a chair across from them, his demeanor changing from concern to resolution. I've been researching options. We have to act quickly if we want to give Lily the best shot at treatment. What do you have? Jake's chest tightened, a wave of hope washed over him, but it quickly mixed with fear. The unknown hung in the balance, threatening to drown them all. There's a clinical trial starting next week. Dr. Simmons thinks she could qualify. Robert's eyes flickered with both hope and caution. But it will require extensive paperwork, and we might have to travel. Ethan, still nestled in the couch, looked between his father and Robert, bewildered. Are we talking about saving Lily? Jake felt the gravity of the moment, every heartbeat pounding in his ears. Yes, we are. What if she gets better? Ethan asked softly, voice trembling as small tears gathered. The question threatened to crush Jake under its weight. He swallowed hard. We have to believe she will. She's a fighter. The room fell into a contemplative silence. Jake found himself staring at the ground, the background sounds of the movie fading into nothingness. The possibilities loomed ahead like shadows, but among those shadows was a glimmer of light, a chance to change everything. But as uncertainty settled over them, a sudden thought irked in Jake's mind: what consequences came with pursuing the trial. Just then, Ethan's eyes brightened. Can we go see her now? Jake's heart clenched. Leaving Ethan feeling unwell made the decision harder, yet it tugged at him. He wanted them both to be strong, but could he bear balancing that strength and uncertainty? Soon, buddy. I promise. As the movie played on, Jake's thoughts churned. He felt like he was dangling over a cliff, the weight of love and fear threatening to pull him under. He had to find answers. He had to protect Lily. But as the credits rolled, the realization struck him: time was no longer on their side. Would the trial and the hope it carried come in time to save Lily? And would they have enough love and strength to see it through? Jake's heart raced, feeling the pressure of time closing in. He glanced at Ethan, who was already half asleep, his small frame still curled into the couch. The superhero movie had lost its entertainment value, morphing into mere background noise as Jake wrestled with his thoughts. He sighed, rubbing a hand over his face. Ethan needed him to be present, but how could he be when every second felt like it was slipping away? The idea of pursuing that clinical trial for Lily ignited both hope and fear in him. The road ahead was uncertain, and Jake found himself questioning everything. What if it was too late? What if the trial didn't work? That's ridiculous, he muttered to himself, shaking his head. Lily needs the chance. Robert's voice broke through the haze. Jake, we can move forward with the paperwork as soon as we gather everything we need. I can help with that, but we must act fast. Nodding, Jake felt the responsibility weighing heavier than ever. You're right. I need to pull myself together. Ethan stirred, peering up at him with wide, tired eyes. Are you okay, Dad? Jake forced a smile. I'm all good, buddy. Just thinking about a plan. Can we make sure we save Lily? Ethan asked, sincerity showing on his little face. the innocence of his son's question pierced Jake deep. Absolutely. We're going to do everything we can. But how? The uncertainty of the next steps tightened the knot in his stomach. Can we get her flowers or something? Ethan suggested quietly. You know, to make her feel better. A surge of warmth bubbled in Jake's chest at the thought. That's a fantastic idea, Ethan. Lilies? Or maybe sunflowers? His heart swelled as he watched Ethan's face light up. Sunflowers! Ethan exclaimed, excitement replacing the worry that had clouded his eyes. They're bright and happy. Yes, they are, Jake agreed, his own spirits lifted by the simple joy of his son's comment. It reminded him that amidst the dark times, they could still chase moments of brightness. As the movie's upbeat theme faded, Jake realized he had to act, not just for Lily but for Ethan. They were in this together. Let us plan for tomorrow. We'll visit Lily, bring the sunflowers, and talk to her doctors. We'll find a way. Ethan nodded enthusiastically, leaning against Jake's side. I can't wait to see her. She's gonna love the flowers. Just then, Jake's phone buzzed on the table, a text from Lily's mother. His heart quickened as he opened it. Jake, we need to talk about Lily's condition and the trial. There's something important we should discuss. An icy shiver coursed down his spine. What now? Wasn't this supposed to be a step forward? What's wrong, Dad? Ethan asked, sensing the change in energy. Jake swallowed hard, glancing at Robert, who wore a knowing expression. Just a message. We might have to meet up with them. Is it about saving her? Ethan asked hopefully. Jake met his son's gaze, determination igniting within him. Yes, it is. But it could change everything. Ethan's grip tightened on his father's hand, and Jake knew they were entering a storm together. Okay, then. Let us get our things ready, he said, the weight of responsibility settling firmly on his shoulders. They would face whatever came next as a team, side by side. But as they gathered themselves to leave, dread pooled in Jake's stomach. What if the trial brought unexpected challenges? What if it didn't save her? Whatever happened next, they needed to be ready. And the knot in Jake's chest grew tighter as he wondered, could they truly face the truth of the unknown together? As dawn broke the next morning, light spilled through the edges of the window curtains, filtering softly into the small living room where Jake and Ethan sat, both lost in their thoughts. Ethan's head rested against Jake's shoulder, his breathing even and peaceful in stark contrast to the whirlwind of worry swirling inside Jake's mind. The world outside was waking up, but here, time felt frozen, a torturous pause before the storm. Dad? Ethan's voice broke the silence, soft and inquiring. Jake stirred, glancing down at his son, whose eyes sparkled with the innocence of childhood. Are we going to see Lily soon? Jake's heart clenched at the thought. Yes, buddy. We'll go right after breakfast, he promised, trying to mask the gnawing uncertainty. He needed to believe in a brighter outcome, not just for Lily, but for Ethan's sake. They shared a modest breakfast, the table cluttered with bowls of cereal and half-eaten toast. With every bite, Ethan chattered about vibrant fantasies of superheroes overcoming great odds, little knowing the gravity of their situation. Jake smiled, nodding along, but inside, he was a storm of emotion. After clearing the kitchen, they prepared the sunflowers. Jake watched Ethan's innocent joy as he handled the bright blooms, arranging them like an artist. Today, they would bring a piece of sunshine to Lily, a reminder that even in the darkest times, hope could blossom. Soon they piled into the car, the cheerful yellow flowers nestled securely in the back seat. The ride to Margaret's house felt endless, the weight of expectation clinging to them. In the distance, the hospital loomed, a stark structure filled with uncertainty. As they approached, Jake could see Margaret waiting at the entrance, her face shadowed with concern. Jake's stomach knotted. Remember, we're here to support Lily, he reminded Ethan, who nodded knowingly. "Mommy, I hope she feels better," Ethan said, his innocent heart echoing a prayer that felt more powerful than any words could convey. Jake's heart swelled with pride. "Me too, kiddo. Let us go give her the sunflowers." Meeting Margaret felt like diving into a pool of anxiety and hope. They exchanged quick, tense pleasantries before heading inside, the sterile smell of antiseptic wrapping around them like a heavy blanket. As they walked down the hall, Jake could feel Ethan's tiny hand gripping his tightly, each step echoing with determination. They entered the patient room, and Jake's breath caught in his throat at the sight of Lily. She lay in the bed, her cheeks pale against the crisp white sheets, but her spirit sparked through, her eyes lighting up when she saw Ethan. "Ethan!" she exclaimed, her voice both weak and full of joy. "Lily, we brought you sunflowers." Ethan's excitement radiated, the flowers appearing bright and vibrant against the sterile backdrop. The moment hung, a delicate bridge connecting their two worlds, both parents holding their breath, watching as children spoke a language pure and untainted. "Thank you. They're beautiful." Lily smiled, her eyes sparkling like she was surrounded by a garden of hope. Jake felt tears blur his vision as he witnessed the bond between them, a friendship that transcended walls of illness and fear. For a moment, they shared stories, the laughter, the jokes, the dreams covering the room in a tapestry of love, the air lightening with each shared joy. But amidst the smiles, Jake felt the weight of reality pressing down. Then the doctor entered, a gentle strength to his presence. "Good morning, everyone," he said, drawing their attention. "I wanted to update you on Lily's situation. We have some promising options moving forward." The words hung in the air, both heavy and hopeful. Jake's heart raced. "What do you mean?" Dr. Simmons went on, highlighting the genetic treatment he'd mentioned before, setting a clear path forward if they chose it, but he tempered it by reminding them of the risks involved. "This is a significant step, but we need a commitment from you, as there's no guarantee. I must stress that the risks are real." Jake inhaled sharply, a swell of panic surging through him. What if it doesn't work? He struggled, the words almost catching in his throat. "But what if it does?" Margaret countered sharply, her eyes fierce with determination. "Lily deserves to fight, she deserves a chance." Jake exchanged glances with Robert, who wore a mask of concern paired with a resolute firmness. It was in that moment Jake felt clarity cutting through the haze. "She's a fighter. She fights for every moment," he spoke softly, looking back at Lily, igniting his own hope. With a nod, their hearts united. "We're in," Jake said, determination in his voice as he reached for Margaret's hand. "We will see this through." Ethan looked between the adults, absorbing their bravery. "Is Lily going to be okay?" he asked, his voice small and vulnerable. "Absolutely," Jake replied, forcing a warmth into his voice. "We're all in this together." In the days that followed, they worked together, parents weaving hope around themselves as tightly as they did for their children. The community stepped up, families uniting for a cause larger than themselves. Friends began to rally, bake sales bursting with treats, car washes bustling with laughter, all for Lily, all for that glimmer of hope. As each fundraiser rolled out, the townspeople surprised everyone with their generosity and resilience. The walls that had once divided them began to crumble. Jake saw the transformation in people. Neighbors who'd once been skeptics now filled the air with encouragement, cheerfully supporting their journey. "Together, we can do anything," Ethan proclaimed one sunny afternoon, his face bright with childlike belief, and it was true. In the pursuit of a shared dream, they found something bigger, transformative, a bond forged from trials, emerging into a radiant tapestry of love. Weeks passed, and with each day, Lily's strength grew, bolstered by the unwavering support around her. With the final pieces in place, they prepared for the trial, hearts laced with hope and fear intermingled. Standing by Lily's hospital bed, Jake felt something shift inside him, a warming light igniting as he processed it all. "If we work together, if we love fiercely and hold nothing back, then anything is possible," he whispered, grasping Margaret's hand tightly. Lily smiled, her spirit brighter than ever. "I believe it. We can't give up." And in that moment, Jake understood that love had the power to transform families, strengthen communities, and spark hope even in the darkest moments. Days turned into nights, sending a rush of electricity through Jake, and he felt every fear and concern lift away. Because he knew, deep down, they'd come through this not just for Lily, but for each other. And as they watched life bloom amidst struggle, a profound realization bloomed within Jake: love was not just something you felt, it was something you fought for. It was in that charge, that beautiful fight for one another, that they found true love, not just between fathers and daughters, but among a community wholeheartedly united. Would they cross the finish line together? Yes, and it would be a glorious testimony of strength, healing, and the heartwarming binds of family. If you've been inspired by this story of love and resilience, this is your moment to show your support. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that lift the human spirit. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, because every little action helps connect us with those who need to hear this. Comment your reactions and feelings about this inspiring ending. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Only true fans know the power of rallying together.